session of the day. Welcome, welcome everybody. We put some Thunderstruck on just to get you going a little bit, right? How's the show going? Tired? A lot of meetings? Yeah, I feel you. I'm Julius, Solaris. I'm the founder of Boldpush. We brought 10 sessions. We're session 8 out of 10. We're going to have a couple more tomorrow. So very exciting time to talk about innovation, AI. Talked a lot about AI over the past couple of days. It's been an interesting moment. So first off, first things first, Rosie. Let's bring Rosie. Come on, Rosie. Come on stage with the QR code for you to scan and get the takeaways from this session. This is going to be a very tool-packed session. So we're going to mention a lot of tools. So this is, I think, very useful if you don't grasp the actual name or application to go back to it once you're done with it. I'm going to give you another second to take a picture of it. I'm saying hi in some pictures, sorry. You got it? Not really? No, it's not going. It's not working? Not from this angle? Do you want to come to the front? Oh, we can bring it back at the end, okay? So, yeah, we'll do that. What I can bring on, though, it's our newsletter. 35,000 event planners subscribe to this. Why you're not in? It's free. It's amazing. People love it. 60% open it. Actually, 41% open it within 2 hours of me sending it. People crave it. They love it. So subscribe. We'll see you there. Okay, our final session today, how small teams win with AI agents. The next speaker is actually exhibiting right there. But he was like, yeah, I mean, I can talk about my tool. And he will talk about his tool. But he's here also as a small business owner, using AI very aggressively. I mean, the uses he does, impressive. And so he's going to be talking about how he uses it for his business. But let me tell you more about him. He's honed his expertise in building product-centric teams, digital transformation for global brands, business model innovation. Currently serving as MD at gther, a cutting-edge event tech scale-up, which is at the forefront of redefining communication in the B2B event space. He's got a diverse background in digital media, advertising, broadcast. He's got a decade industry experience, global perspective, having worked in Japan, US, Australia, Europe. He's a great speaker. He's Nick Rosier. Welcome on stage. Oh, let's give it up. Come on, let's do this. Welcome,
Thanks,
Nick.
buddy. Thank you.
All right, let's take a seat and let's get started. How's your Barcelona experience? First time?
You know what? I've been here once before, but it was a really brief trip. I made the mistake of trying to drive from Paris all the way down to Barcelona to save on the flight,
All right.
and realized it was a very long way.
How's the show going, IBTM? Enjoying it?
Great, yeah, great. Made some great people and some great brands around, some people. So it's been good fun.
All right, tell us more about gther. What do you do?
So what is gther? So I think for context, it's worth talking about going back to fundamentals a bit. So what is business? Business is fundamentally the exchange of value between people, right? It's the transactions that happen between those people. And for those transactions to happen, you need to have connections. And where are connections made? At events, right? Events are a catalyst that helps to build those connections between the people. And so we at gther, we sit in between all of that. We sit in between those moments of connection between people and the brands that happen there. And so we're a team that's building tools that helps to build connections. Now, technology and event is sort of like the air all around us, right? It's everywhere, and it's ubiquitous, and it's essential. But if you're doing it right, nobody notices it. People aren't thinking about the air in the room. They're thinking about each other and the connections they're making, right? So what we're doing is the same. And it's interesting. I noticed this. So my family are hoteliers, and I grew up in hotels. And great teams at hotels are the ones that remain unseen in the background. And maybe there's some people in the hospitality industry here in this room, but I think that's a really interesting thing. You know, you go to a great hotel and you walk down the corridor, someone's already cleaned it. You go to the breakfast bar and it's all been beautifully set out for you before you get there. And then you go back to your room later and it's been turned down. You know, all of that activity is happening behind the scenes, people running around madly, getting stressed, swearing at each other, maybe, but you don't see any of that. And I think that there's a great parallel to technology and events and event tech. And so we're not in the spotlight, you know, we're shining the spotlight on the connections between the people, and we're building the architecture that helps to get people in a room to meet each other, to connect, to share ideas and exchange value. And interestingly, a final point, RX France, or RX generally, the people who are organizing this event, they've got a great mantra. They say they're in the business of building businesses. And I think that's so true of the industry, and I think it's true probably of everyone here. And so that's what we try and live by as well.
That's incredible. And, we know now, post-pandemic, we've been talking about how we're attending events for connection over content. It was a gut feeling that we had post-pandemic for a long time. It's been confirmed by research now, where 70% of planners are saying that most of the registrations today are happening because people want to connect, not necessarily to learn as much. I mean, learning is still important. It's 50% up there. So people want it, but not as much as connection. So you're facilitating that. And the reason why we're here today as well is because you're, AI expert in a sense in how you use it for your small business. I've been spending a ton of time, looking at AI tools, doing courses for AI and events, and the stuff you show me is pretty advanced. And so I want to talk about it today. How do you use it today? How do you use AI today?
So, in lots of ways. I mean, we're a real super user, and we're trying to use it innovatively, right, for ourselves as a business. And I want to talk about that, as you said, because I think that's really the value here. Like, events teams in general are pretty small, right? There's often, one person running a global program. There's a few people, a few heroes and champions who do everything, wear all the hats. And so the three most valuable resources for any event organizer are time, and time. Because you're running. So whatever we're doing, we need to generate that resource, that precious resource of time. So we use AI in lots of ways. So the first way, fundamentally, given we're a technology business, is to help our development pipeline. And we have a very small team in the office of engineers that are helping build all our products, and we build a lot of stuff. And in the last few years, we've heavily adopted the use of AI agents in that development pipeline. So that means that whenever I'm developing, I'm not writing code necessarily. I've gone from being a creator to a curator. I prompt the code in my code interface, and I say, hey, I need to extend this feature. Here's a reference to files. Here's a reference to the structure of my code. Here's a reference to the user needs at the end of it. Have a go. Write something. So then the AI goes and looks in all the files, and you can see this in action. The agents are running. We use Claude Desktop. We use Copilot within Visual Studio Code, and the activity is visible, so you can see it doing all this research, coming back, and it presents you with a page of code. Then my job is to look at that and say, okay, does this make sense? Does this work? Can I test it? You missed this bit, you've missed that bit. And then that's how we develop these days. And productivity from a pure development perspective has increased, I'd say 90%, easily.
Wow.
We're doing the job of a team of 25 people, and there's sort of 3-4 engineers in the team.
Yeah, that's massive. So we're talking real numbers here. So we're talking about AI agents. Can you define that for us as opposed to, traditional ChatGPT, just for everybody's sake? I mean, I'm sure not everybody's confident with what we're talking about here.
Yeah, sure. So everyone here, I have a show of hands, who here has used AI as in ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini? Yeah, everyone in the room, right? That's great, and we'll come to that later. But typically, these things are information gatherers. You ask them a question, they give you an answer. Agents are AI that can do things for you. So you give it an instruction, and it goes away and uses applications, finds information, polls your database, and creates an output and does an action for you. That's the difference.
Yeah, so independently doing stuff for you, connecting multiple services as well, which is one of the most exciting applications for us. Data silos, anybody, right? So, we feel that. So that's going to be one of the applications. So speaking about that, obviously, you run a small business. You said you do the work of 25 people in 3-4 people right now. So you're a heavy user of AI, but you're also in events.
Yeah.
So what are the applications in events that you're seeing right now?
Exactly, and I think it's important to look not at necessarily automating tasks that we do ourselves, but doing things that you can't do before. So for an event organizer, for an event manager, one of the big things we need to do is get bums in seats. We need people to walk through that door, register, and show up. And that's always been the biggest challenge. Like late registrations, all of that stuff. But qualifying those people in the first place, I think, is a really big challenge that agents can help with. So if I provide my agent a list of leads, a list of information, a list of previous attendants, I can do a lot of analysis on that, which I couldn't necessarily do myself, or it would take a big data team a lot of time to crunch that data. We already know, we're poor on time, we don't do that work, right? But if I plug this in, I can say, okay, look at this list of contacts, look at their interests, look at their past activity, draw trends between it, align that with the topics that I'm going to be presenting at this event, align that with my attendees, my exhibitors, and try and work out, okay, who are my champions? Who do I need to contact early? Who should I ask to speak? Who's got the biggest audience, the biggest pulls? And then who am I not targeting that I should be? And what AI can do then is say, okay, I've got a list of names and email addresses here. I'm going to populate all these profiles and make them really rich. We can use tools like Serpa or Firecrawl to scrape information from thousands, tens of thousands of websites, LinkedIn, socials, corporate sites, personal sites, everything that's freely given online, and generate these really rich profiles, which give us as organizers all the tools we need to target marketing almost on a one-to-one basis. And that's a really, really powerful thing.
And to enrich the connection element as well, right? Because we get more context about our attendees. Very important. Again, the GDPR people here, multiple seizures that we're having through the different sessions that we're having here. But this is what is happening, is becoming one of the best uses. So our research, 1,000 people, again, for the people that have been with me for multiple sessions, I apologize, we keep repeating this. 1,000 people almost in our research. And, we asked, why do you use AI? What is the biggest benefit? And they answered in unison, 65% sort of answer, saving time.
Yeah.
So, and through the past 7 sessions that we had over the past 2 days, it's been a constant operations, time saving. So that's the recurring theme.
Yeah.
How can we use them for our everyday business ops?
So a great example is onboarding. Onboarding, we bring in new members of a team, and that can be a long process. It can take 2-3 months to bring someone up to speed and really get to grips and know everything there is to know about your business and how you operate. And if you're ISO accredited or SOC 2, well, that's going to take you even longer because that is a big policy library you've got to crunch through. So an example of what we've done is we have Claude Desktop. Now, does anyone here use Claude Desktop? Yeah, okay, a couple of people, good. So this is a local tool that sits on your computer. It's not in the cloud. And the beauty of it is it has access to all the files in your system, and it can also access MCP servers. So MCP is a thing called Model Context Protocol. And this is basically the glue, the common communication framework.
Keep an eye on MCP, people. This is the most important concept you're going to hear today.
Honestly, it's so important, and it's going to be the next huge thing. That people integrate into all their apps and everything they're building. But it's a common communication protocol that allows all the apps that we use day to day to talk to AI and vice versa. So Claude Desktop sits in your desktop, and we can say, okay, connect to Confluence, where we store our policy library. Connect to SharePoint, where we store our files. Now, when I'm onboarding people, I can say to them, okay, talk to Claude. Your job is to work out all the policies around this particular aspect: customer service, customer success, engineering, security, best practices. That information is held in these libraries of documents we spent a long time putting together. But if anyone had to manually scroll through, it would take them days and weeks of time. So instead, they can ask a simple question: hey, Claude, what's our GDPR protocol? Claude knows our specific GDPR protocol, the do's, don'ts, who to contact, what to do, and it spits it out. And that is a game changer in getting people up to speed fast. And again,
that takes time. Onboarding takes a long time.
Absolutely.
We're onboarding a lot of younger professionals that are joining events teams, and we know how difficult it is to transmit all of that information again and again. And also, we've seen practical application with NCPs with some event technology companies. Actually, in the UK, we've seen Ticket integrating with Claude LLM.
Yeah.
I've seen how you're able to plug the intelligence of Claude into an existing ticketing platform or a connection matchmaking platform in some cases, and get it to create forms for you, to create websites for you. not only to analyze, which is
Yeah.
interesting, right?
It's true. It's true. And I mean, for example, we've also done the same. We have an NTP server of our own that integrates our scheduling and meeting management system with our chatbot essentially. So we use GPT, but could be Claude, could be anyone. Now, what that helps you do is two things. One is, rather than having to go to every client and saying, okay, tell us your KPIs, we'll build you a custom dashboard which perfectly describes and illustrates all the data you want to particularly capture. And oh, by the way, we need different dashboards for sales, for marketing, for the events teams. And so, an impossible task, right? You can't have a one-size-fits-all model in that world. But what we can do, given that we've connected Claude to our database, is say, okay, and GPT rather, and say, okay, I'm going to let the user ask questions about that data. Claude or GPT is then going to create database queries to pull the information from your database and present it back to you, not just as raw data, but also with insight. So I can say, okay, what is the utilization percentage of all the rooms in my space? I'd be like, okay, these are most used rooms. By the way, this was not used at all. Maybe next time, think about the different way you can structure your space. Put one less meeting room, put some free tables, the tables are used more, and that's genuine insight that we can actually pick up on from the data because thanks to the smarts of these AI systems.
I mean, we've been talking a lot about the future and AI. We've been going deep with cloud desktop, MCPs, and the likes. This is how we like to wrap it up with all of our sessions, like top 5 practical tools. Get your notebooks out, get your notes out, record the next part, get your Rosier summary out. Because this is the time where you need to pay attention. This is where Nick is going to give you the tools that matter for you to keep an eye on, right? Top 5, let's go.
Okay, excellent. Well, I'll give you 3 and then I'll give you a warning at the end.
Okay, all right.
So get ready for the warning because I think it's really important. But first off, we use another tool I haven't talked about yet called N8N. So N8N is a workflow tool, and it connects AI workers, so agents, to all the different apps you might use. You can also link it to Google Search, you can link it to your database, you can link it to all sorts of services.
What is an example how you use it?
So we use it, for example, for generating lists of insights and top trends in the industry. So in the morning, I get to my work and I look in Slack, and I've got a list of top 10 things people are talking about right now. And I don't have to go on the news sites to read that. I don't have to go on LinkedIn to scroll it. I don't have to go and seek out information. These workers basically go, they scrape thousands of sites using Serpa or Firecrawl. Then they present that information, they categorize it, they look for trends, they compare that with what people are actively talking about in socials, because we know that social listening is the best way to get ahead of trends before they've been written as articles in TechCrunch or whatever.
If you follow the right people.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure exactly who you mean there, but yeah, I'm sure there are people out there in the industry. And that presents it to us so every morning with this digest, without having to do anything, that we can wake up to, have coffee and read, and it gives us real insight into what's happening right now. And that's all automated. We don't need to go out and do that work. So that's fantastic. So N8N, great workflow tool. And you can build anything. You can connect anything. So it's really powerful. Now, I believe people in the past here in these sessions have talked about Clay and about lead enrichment, contact enrichment. I'm sure we've all worked with clients, or maybe we've got our own CRM, which is full of old data. So Clay is a fantastic tool, and you can do this yourselves without Clay, but it's a really useful thing. Allows you to enrich that data, look through, clear out old records, update people's job titles, create profiles and bios that you can then categorize and act on. So we talked about that at the beginning with working out who should be at these events and how to get that traffic.
Disclaimer, check your GDPR compliance before using Clay.
Absolutely, yeah. Be careful what you post online, I mean, it's out there, and it's very easy to grab it. So Clay, and we've got our own system with lead capture where you can actually enrich leads. So you're in a sales conversation, you've met someone, you can take a picture of their badge, AI scrapes the data into the leads columns, and then you press enrich, and it does the same search. It searches all over the internet, news sources, their LinkedIn, everything, and it gives you who they are, what they've been doing recently, and talking points. So as a salesperson, I can say, okay, I've got the information I need in that first critical 30 seconds to understand exactly who I'm talking to and spot the opportunity that I might otherwise have had to wait until I got home after the event and say, oh, damn, I should have said this. I should have asked that question. I should have mentioned this. And that moment of connection is the crucial moment where all this stuff happens, right?
Love to see it. 50 seconds, controversy. Bring it on.
Controversy. Be careful. Be careful. Who here came to the event in an Uber? Or here who's used Uber, and yeah, a few of you. Okay, I'm sure we all use Uber a lot in our towns. Now, Uber, the way they started their model is that it had a land grab moment. And we're in the land grab of the AI movement. So everything is free, it's cheap. There are no ads in GPT, there are no ads in Claude. And what they're doing is gaining market share and gaining usage and making sure that all these AI tools are integrated heavily into all the pipelines of all these big businesses into our daily lives. Once that happens, then the model changes. Then the model becomes, okay, we're not about competing on price or giving it for free. We're going to flip the script and we're going to start to recoup the tens and hundreds of billions of dollars that they've spent on data centers, on NVIDIA chips, and all that sort of stuff. So in 5 years from now, I think you'll see a very different situation. Maybe many of us here have used free. We've maybe used the $20 tier. Maybe a few heavier users, they've got the $200 tier they introduced recently. And maybe there's one company here who's a heavy user and they spend $1 million a year. That will completely flip in 5 years from now. We're going to have ads in free tier. We're going to have lots of people using the paid tiers to get away from the ads. And then business and enterprise will be on Salesforce pricing, not on 20 quid a month pricing. And so be careful because those costs are going to increase. So when you think about integrating these into your pipeline, think about exactly how crucial that is for you to do business. And think about what the future of that might look like if they decided to increase the price 10 times.
And with that, we wrap up today's sessions. Thank you so much, Nick, for being with us, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.